In the world of global diplomacy, whispers and rumors often precede the official announcement. This past week, those whispers have grown into a roar, centering on a potential and, quite frankly, startling development. Sources within both Washington and Moscow are suggesting that a high-stakes summit between former President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin is being seriously considered. The proposed location is as dramatic as the attendees themselves: Alaska, the last frontier, a land of ice and rugged independence, could soon play host to a dialogue between two of the world's most talked-about leaders, a prospect that has sent shockwaves through the international community. When the White House, rather than issuing a flat denial, offered a more measured and cautious response, confirming that a dialogue was indeed being explored. To understand the weight of a potential Trump-Putin summit, we have to look back at the long and often turbulent road of US-Russia relations. The optimism that followed the end of the Cold War unfortunately did not last, giving way to a renewed sense of rivalry and mistrust. Issues like NATO expansion eastward, which Moscow viewed as a direct threat to its sphere of influence, began to create deep fractures. Conflicts in places like Chechnya, Georgia, and later, the annexation of Crimea in 2014 cemented a new era of confrontation. In response, Russia has often engaged in asymmetric warfare, including cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns. During Donald Trump's presidency, the official U.S. policy of pressure and sanctions continued, yet his personal rhetoric often seemed to contradict it. For Trump, the motivations appear to be deeply intertwined with his political ambitions and his personal brand of foreign policy. He has always championed the idea of direct, top-level negotiation, believing his force of personality can succeed where traditional diplomacy fails. A summit with Putin would allow him to project an image of strength and relevance on the global stage. For Vladimir Putin, the calculus is equally strategic, though born from a different set of circumstances. For years, Russia has sought to break out of the diplomatic isolation imposed by Western sanctions. A summit with a major American political figure like Trump offers a significant propaganda victory. The choice of Alaska is no accident. It sits a mere 55 miles from Russia across the Bering Strait. The location naturally evokes history, including the 1867 sale of Alaska from Russia to the United States. For both leaders, it offers a neutral feeling stage that is visually stunning and rich with historical undertones. The moment news of the potential Alaska summit broke, the White House communications team went into overdrive, not to promote the meeting, but to temper enthusiasm for it. The official statements have been a study in cautious language, filled with phrases like preliminary discussions and exploring the possibility of dialogue. This is a deliberate strategy. By framing the summit as something less than a full-blown negotiation, the administration is trying to control the narrative. The issues dividing the US and Russia are incredibly complex and deeply entrenched. Problems like the war in Ukraine and nuclear arms control are not going to be solved in a single afternoon meeting. In a world with two nuclear superpowers, the ability for leaders to talk, even if they disagree, is a vital safety mechanism. They are preparing the ground for a meeting that is more about process than product, more about dialogue than deliverables. For ordinary people in both the United States and Russia, news of a potential summit stirs a complex mix of emotions, ranging from cautious optimism to deep-seated anxiety. Some citizens may see this as a positive development, a pragmatic step toward de-escalating tensions with a nuclear power. However, a significant portion of the American public is likely to view this meeting with considerable fear and suspicion, worried that a summit could inadvertently legitimize Putin's actions. In Russia, many ordinary Russians, weary of economic sanctions and international isolation, might welcome the summit with a sense of hope. For them, the meeting would be a source of national pride, a sign that Russia's strength and importance are being recognized. At the same time, many Russians, particularly those opposed to the current government, may worry that the summit will only serve to strengthen Putin's grip on power. In the final analysis, it is easy to be cynical about a summit like this one. However, to dismiss the meeting as pure political theater would be to miss a fundamentally important point. In the dangerous world of geopolitics, particularly between two nations with thousands of nuclear weapons, the simple act of talking is, in itself, a significant event. When leaders do not speak, they are forced to guess each other's intentions, creating fertile ground for misunderstandings that can escalate into crises. Even if Trump and Putin walk away from Alaska with nothing more than a better sense of each other's thinking, that alone is a valuable outcome. In the long, challenging effort to manage one of the world's most perilous relationships, a single conversation is not the end of the story, but it can be a new beginning. And in these uncertain times, that still matters.